It's all right. And the last part, I'm like, that's cool. That changes all this. None of it makes sense. I was just trying to make Matt text me and go, what's wrong with you?
I mean, we just keep getting weirder and weirder with our choices.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, now we don't, shove food in our faces the entire time, some of us.
I really want to be excited about these lines, but I'm concerned for my wife.
And then Caleb had a crush on it.
Punk ass Caleb. She was all spicy when we got home. I was like, what's up? She was like, nothing.
Nothing?
No, not Craven Edge. What's the matter with you? It doesn't matter. This is our panel.
We're watching convention coverage.
Sacramento.
Oh my God.
Oh man, it's been a minute since we've been back.
I know.
Gosh, it's 5, 6, 7
It feels
years.
good. It feels good to be back.
What is time? I mean, the last 6 years, nothing really happened in the world or the country or anything,
Yeah.
Gosh.
Wow.
Look at all the people standing in the back,
Hi, friends.
on the sides. Y'all are amazing.
There's so many of you.
I want to do that thing where we ask the cosplayers to stand up.
Everybody's a cosplayer.
Can you stand up so we can see you though? If you're rocking some dope ass cosplay.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Amazing. Oh my God. There's a chair. There's a Chetney chair. It's a killing machine.
Wow.
Amazing. I'm gonna need a picture with that chair later. You guys, it's so wonderful to see you all. We obviously have an extensive career. We started doing this stuff, anime. Gosh, how many years ago now? 20.
Stop.
We don't. We are in our 20s. So we started when we were.
We're little babies.
And since then, we've started this little thing called Critical Role.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. If you are a Critical Role fan, would you raise your hand? Amazing. If you started playing D&D or other tabletop RPGs because of Critical Role, can you raise your hand?
Awesome. Wow.
Wow. That gives the warm and fuzzies. Amazing. It's so great to be back here with you guys. SacAnime is one of our very first shows. I think the first time we came was in 2009. Thank you. Incredible. That was amazing. You
Oh
should
my
just
God.
come everywhere with us.
Stop.
What's that?
He said, I was 8. How
Is
dare.
that right?
Wow.
8?
You're a man. What in the...
You're a full-ass man with a beard and everything.
All right, so though we got to join in the adventure with Critical Role in 2015 is where we first started seeing the broadcast. You actually started playing together back in 2012 is where the story first started. That's according to Google.
Yes.
That
That's
you all
right.
seen Google. How do you feel like your gaming experiences have changed since then?
I mean, I'd never played at all before we played together. So it's changed a lot. Gosh, I mean, now we don't, shove food in our faces the entire time we play. Some of us.
I have no shame.
It's funny, I saw like a meme that was your first character is, Lord of the Rings type archetypal characters, and by the third or fourth player, you're like a clown riding a bicycle. And that's what it feels like. I mean, we just keep getting weirder and weirder with our choices.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The characters are grounded, deep, rich.
I killed Santa! Okay.
He had it coming. Neither of us have played before. Lots of RPG, like video game experience. And some of us were tiptoeing into those waters, and then Laura sat down and just went full accent, full RP, was embodying the whole thing, and then we were all dumbstruck.
I was like, this is like Dragon Age, but real? It's everything I ever wanted.
Yeah.
Who can I romance?
And then I made a giant idiot with an intelligence of 6.
Yeah.
Out the window.
Yeah.
But it's amazing because I think in the first couple of months of shooting Critical Role, we played more than we ever did in our home game. So we instantly learned more about the characters than we ever had. Actually sitting around the table with nachos and mimosas and whatever until 2, 3 in the morning or all day on Saturdays.
Yeah. Before children, that's, it's a different world.
But it's crazy. The show has been so amazing that our our work lives have gotten so much more congested that every time we break to sit at that table to share that kind of communion of fantasy storytelling, it's such a release. Like, it's something we really look forward to so that we can just sit with our friends and try and make each other laugh. And that's the best part. So the fact that you guys get to sit there with us year after year and watch and share and that stuff is so immeasurably special to us.
And then go have your own adventures. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
So you talked about with creation process, what sort of, and when you started, it was just like, let's just go in, right? Let's play something fun.
dive.
You talked about it being like Lord of the Ringsy. What sort of preparation do you do now for characters that you create? Like, what sort of insight do
It's
you...
funny, like the difference, because when we first sat down to play, you know, all we had was a name. You didn't even have a name.
Nope.
And a class. And like Liam and I knew we were going to be twins because we both wanted to be the same character, basically, and we tried to make it work.
And you lost.
And I lost. He got the rogue, darn it. But like, we didn't create a backstory for that first game. When we sat down to, like, Liam and I went to a cafe and we were like, okay, let's talk about our childhood. And like mapped it all out so that we could write a backstory when we actually started filming the show, because we were like, we knew loose stuff, but we didn't have everything planned out. And now when we start, it's like Travis and I were talking about the amount of pages of writing that happens before that we send over to Matt is like, what was it, a flight back from, what, Australia? And he sat almost the entire flight, guys. That's a long-ass flight. And wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. That was Ford, right?
Yep.
And I wrote and wrote and wrote and then went to sleep. But then we sent it over to Matt, and then he looks at it and goes, okay, this works, this doesn't quite work with the world. Like, we created, like, our cities, like I have created Nicodranus because I wanted it to be like a, wow, my words. Courtesans, what's the name of the freaking Venetian, yes, like the old cities, like I wanted that like beautiful architecture and everything happening, so.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked onto the plane with a character not named Ford, and into the flight, Ford came out with the J being silent, and like 5-6 pages, and I don't know when you guys write your backstories if it's the same way. I write like I read with my ADHD, which is I'll get halfway down the page and I'm like, I don't know what I just read. Go back up to the top. So I'll write, and the last part I'm like, that's cool, that changes all this crap. And just go right. So it just bounces back and forth. But that's for me, removing stimuli and the chance to get distracted by stuff is the best, because you're just totally engrossed in slapping clay on, shaving it off. And that was probably the most fun I've had, short of making a psychopathic 400-year-old gnome.
Whose backstory was even longer.
It's even longer. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense. I was just trying to make Matt text me and go, what's wrong with you? I'm not doing this. And I was like, I bet you will.
So with your extensive careers in voice acting and just is there anything that you take away from characters that you've played where you're like little nods to characters you create? Was that confusing?
Like in our real life?
Yeah, yes, yeah, and outside of Critical Role,
Yeah.
is there anything, like any jobs you've done or any characters you've played where you're like, oh, interesting. Maybe, like, and then
want
you're
to be
playing
like
the
that?
game and you're like, oh, that just sounded like X character that I played.
Yes.
Yes, I want to be cool.
I want to be like that. I want to be tough. No, I mean, I think one of the OG ones is Toru. Like, when I first started playing her, she was everything that I wanted to be. She was positive and sweet and wanted to bring out the best in people and always saw the good in people, and I thought that was amazing. And I didn't even realize that I had created so much of her in Jester until I started replaying Toru when the series came back. And I was like, oh my gosh, she really did. She stayed in me, and now she's coming out again. It's great.
Yeah, I if you don't know, I'm the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan. I watched. I'd go to Target and get the VHS copies when they came out way back then. So don't even check me on the date of that. But that's how I realized.
This is
Laura
how we
was
started dating.
Yeah, I realized Laura was in the show, and I was like, what? And the stalking began. Not really. Don't stalk people. Not cool. No, but when we finally got an audition for Full Metal Alchemist, I was like, this is the cool, Roy Mustang is so cool. But being a DBZ fan, every time he had, like, he would just snap, right? And there was no excerpt. I'd be like, yeah! They're like, no, it's not DBZ, Travis. It's not a Kamehameha. Just relax. Just snap your fingers like a, I'm like, but that's not as cool.
So now when we do the animated series of our own shows, that's why you get those huge
Scream
reactions
my ass
for Grog.
off.
Yeah.
Yes. Gotta have a cool line, gotta power up. I wanna have my throat bleed like Chris Sabat has done masterfully for so many years. But yeah, whether it was Ace in One Piece or Free and Soul Eater, like those characters are just the most awesome. I guess I play a lot of fire characters.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, Pyro.
And now Chetney's a pyro. Oh, it all comes back around.
There is a plan.
One beautiful thing, well, I mean, there's a lot of beautiful things, but one thing that always resonates with me when I watch and listen to the show is that the emotions that go into it. There's a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and that's something that's just so beautiful with it. That's what makes it art, is that it has a soul and that it resonates with people. I would like to ask you if there is one moment of just pure joy that you had while playing with your friends. I mean, that might be the answer right there.
Jeez.
It is the friends we made along the way.
One moment of pure joy.
There are a lot of them. I mean,
Shiver and quiff.
oh, we're professionals. Yeah, anytime we can anytime we could fall out for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and totally watch Matt melt into a pile of goo, we know it's right.
Oh, it's so good.
Those moments are great. Anytime the dice help the story out in an unbelievable way, whether it's double nat 20s or how do you want to do this when your enemy is down to a couple hit points and you're lower. Those things are great. So
How did you get double? You got double 20s as Grog when you first emerged, right?
I did.
How did that happen?
I'm amazing.
So good.
I have one set of dice and I stick with it. That's why they love me.
Sure.
Yeah, that was the search for Grog, and I rolled the first one. I was like, well, that's amazing. I've been in a Pokeball this whole game. And as I was rolling the second one, I was like, it would be so nuts if this was a 22, and I looked over and it was a 20 in the corner, and I was like,
So good.
bonkers, 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 bonkers. Sheer joy
Yes.
must spark joy.
For Gern Blanston,
Oh my God.
great episode. When was that like pre-planned for Vex to,
To
get
take
the
the-
broom? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? No, it wasn't.
Chaos.
But I figured he was only going to be there for one episode, and like, how mad could he be if I took something? I didn't think it was like that bad to do. It was just
evil.
this awesome item that was up for grabs. And then it turned into Broomgate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So.
who cares?
I mean, now she can fly, so come on.
Yeah, it made it that much cooler to animate. And I think everybody left the room being like, that was so fun, what a great game. And then
Yeah.
the internet was like, brooms though.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah.
It was excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
A good question about it being pre-planned though, because this chaos mind, she's got plans.
No, that was not pre-planned. When I saw the broom, and if you want to say pre-planned, like the minute I saw it, I immediately was like, how can I get that?
Love at first sight.
Yeah.
With a broom.
Oh,
Makes
come
Ford
on,
feel
she's been
real
wanting
special.
to fly for so long. That's like,
You
dang,
did.
come on.
You did.
During campaign 2, at what point did Fjord and Jester fall in love with each other? And is there a certain moment that comes to your mind?
You're getting in there deep.
Oh.
Y'all, Mighty Nine animated series
Oh,
coming
gosh.
out. Season
So
3
exciting.
of Vox Machina in October 3rd.
Yeah.
Great question.
Oh, shipping.
I think my answer is different from yours.
Yeah, your answer is probably different than mine.
Ladies first.
Well, I had a huge crush on Ford from the very beginning. But then it was like, it was like she had this idealized version of what he was and who he was, and it took being together as a group for so long for her to realize, like for that to break down and say, oh, you're a real person and you're not this like romanticized hero that I thought you were, but you're still like the most amazing person. So I feel like she didn't like realize like what love was until like after they were already together.
Yeah. I think for Fjord, you know, he always liked Jester, and then after everything that happened with Avantika and on the sea and, you know, just being used and abused, thank you very much. I think it was coming back and having that conversation with Jester, the jellyfish conversation, which was just so amazing at the table, because Laura's probably the best role player I've ever seen.
Thank you very much.
Second best role player I've ever seen. I think it was realizing that she had been hurt and that she had started to move on in her mind, and then it was longing for the thing that maybe just got away and not realizing it until that moment, and then trying to catalog like, oh, how have I missed this wonderful thing that was right in front of me? It was really great and slow, which I think is always so wonderful, that slow burn of realizing it. Yeah, and then it went from her flirting with Jester flirting with Fjord to Fjord having to flirt with Jester. And that was really fun.
Yeah. And then Caleb had a crush on her.
Punk ass Caleb. Get out of here with that mess.
Ha 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 ha.
Trash wizard.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
My question is for Travis. I'm wondering with all...
Yeah, it's just to get it. I'm just gonna leave. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I mean, you can answer it too.
No, I will.
With all of the awesome cameos that we've had in Campaign 3 from past characters that you guys have played, is there any chance that Chetney might live long enough to be a cameo in Campaign 4 or beyond?
There's always a chance.
That would be, oh no. I don't know how long gnomes are supposed to live. Like Matt asked me, how old is he? And I was like, he's like 150, 200, 400, he's over 400 years old. And he was like, it's starting to get up near the top there. I was like, what is the top, Matt? Let's actively try and find it. So maybe. I think in between the campaigns, we've jumped like
10 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could hang on for, you know, another half cinch. You read?
Louise.
Oh no.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
How has your process of building and making characters changed over the years? / is there anything that you do now when making characters that you wish you had done earlier?
Yeah. Well, like she said in our first, like I showed up with a barbarian. We rolled stats, and then Matt was like, "Tell us about your character," and I was like, "What do you mean?" I just rolled my stats. He was like, "Do you have a name?"
Yeah.
Grog. Tell us about Grog. He makes fine leather boots. That was it.
You literally named yourself Grog because you like drinking.
Well, drinking, it was because of Monkey Island.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And just them cheering Grog. I didn't even know what Grog was. I thought it was booze, but it just sounded like a fun word. And Grog was going to be fun. That's how it happened.
And then you made your last name Stonejaw.
So here's the thing.
Strongjaw.
I was making up.
What's your last name?
I wrote Stonejaw first and then Strongjaw underneath it, and I kept flipping back and forth on the character sheet. And then Matt read it, and he thought that I named my father Stonejaw Strongjaw. I was like, that's not his name. He goes, you wrote it down. I was like, that's not what that is.
Too late.
Canon.
Too late. I don't know. I mean, I made my characters hot from the beginning. I keep making them hot. I think that's everything I ever wanted. You know?
That is what she said.
Make her hot.
Make her hot.
That's my process too.
Yeah. It's a good process.
Story comes later.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As you guys are coming up on sort of like coming towards the end of show running the Vox Machina series, has doing the research to revisit the old campaign and writing the final scripts for the show, brought in like those sorts of emotions from the old campaign, and how does that affect your approach to show running the show?
Yeah, it had happened so many years ago where we certainly had to refresh ourselves just on how things work. We have an amazing lore keeper, Danny Carr, who also helps.
Oh yeah.
But man, we'd go back and watch the episodes like 1.5, 1.75, 2 times speed just to blaze through it, so we all kind of sound like chipmunks, which is fun in itself. But it's important to us that we know what story beats were there, what we can hit, what we can economize, and I think we've said this before, things that we can kind of improve connection-wise. Invariably in a TTRPG campaign where it's open sandbox and the DM is wishing for the best, if he doesn't put us on railroads, we'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Well,
I mean, that was the whole first part of Mighty Nine was just we were everywhere, right?
Yeah, so both with Vox and with Mighty Nine, more so with Mighty Nine, there's a reorganization of storylines. I think we did a quote in this Entertainment Weekly article a couple weeks ago, and it was like, it's a new story, and I saw people going like, what do you mean it's a new story? We love the Mighty Nine story. I shouldn't have said a new story, it's a new approach to the story, like a better, more streamlined telling of it. There are things that will change, but it's still the story that everybody loves, yeah. But going back and listening to those things, it's incredible. I mean, we also remember them a certain way, and it's amazing handing over those moments that live in our heads, and I'm sure live in your minds as well as a certain way, and then giving them to animators and board artists and watching what comes out there. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, you feel such ownership over certain moments, and so it can be like really hard to hand them over if like and to let that control go.
Sure.
And say like it's beautiful the way it is in this way. So
So like your baby.
yeah, it's your baby. But yes, like revisiting those moments, I get those same emotional feelings. Like I feel like I'll see something happen with Vax in the show, or like know something's happening with Vax. I'm like, that punk. Like, he shouldn't get that moment. I should have that moment. And it's a full, like, jealousy sibling thing happening. And I'm like, oh, I love that moment for him. That's Vex in my brain, you know, being a little punk.
You got mad at me for the back half of a day after a Mighty Nine recording session because Fjord wasn't paying enough attention to Jester. She was all spicy when we got home. I was like, what's up? She was like, nothing.
Nothing? You're in charge of the show. You should know.
I'm in trouble, you guys. I'm in trouble.
What moment from Critical Role most impacted you as a person? Across all like 3 campaigns. So.
Well, being pregnant with our kid in campaign 2 was amazing. And I think if I could say, we were trying to tell Matt like when we thought we'd have to take off for, you know, the coming of,
you know, like the birth.
which you try and guess at. He was like a couple weeks early. So we weren't there. We left earlier than Matt had planned. And so when Fjord and was it
Jester and Yasha.
Yeah, got kidnapped, and then Molly and everybody took on the Tomb Takers. And like the first episode back, we had also just switched studios. Molly, spoilers, didn't do so well. Yeah. We were sitting there with new baby, like watching the TV, and it's happening. We're like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're gonna die!" So that was pretty impactful.
Yeah.
We also felt a little guilty,
Yeah, pretty guilty.
and we
there.
blamed our son.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most impactful on our life, it was when we started playing together. Like when we started streaming it, like that changed everything. Like our entire world. If you looked at our life before Critical Role, it was incredibly different. And yeah, it's changed everything.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The gods of Exandria are very specific and very integral to all of the stories. Your characters don't often jive with them, but my question for each of you is, which deity in the pantheon is your favorite and why?
Ooh, good.
The
question.
Traveler's my favorite deity. Even though he's not really one. I'm partial to the matron. Now I'm partial to the matron.
Selfish.
Yeah, it's so selfish. But I despised her. I was so mad at her. And then getting to play her, I was like, she's amazing, you know? So
Fjord obviously loves the Wild Mother. I like the Storm Lord just because I'm all about the god of war and strength and adversity and stuff like that. And I like the Archheart.
I do too.
A lot.
Yeah.
Any god that came down was like, let's give these mortals magic and really see how wrong this goes.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
And Abu Bakr in Downfall was, oh my God.
Abu Bakr Salim, so good.
He's so good. Ugh.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Aor Downfall, check it out. It's going to have reverberating waves through the universe.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Who's the most vital, critical person in all of Critical Role?
The most vital, critical person.
You
in
answer,
Critical Role.
you answer vital, and I'll answer vital.
Okay.
That's not what I asked, Travis.
I think
It doesn't matter. This is our battle.
that's really. God, that's a really tough question. I think everybody is so important,
Integral.
integral. I think, obviously, I think it's a joint vitalness of you and Matt. Because Matt obviously creates the worlds and does everything for the game. But Travis, we wouldn't be Critical Role if Travis wasn't with us. It's 100% true. He's the one that made it a company, and heads everything. And he spends so much of his energy and his time and his heart making it what it is. And yeah.
I'm basically the most important person. No, I mean, thank you. Thank you, first of all. That's super sweet. I'll cry in a minute here. For me, it is Matt because he spawned the universe into existing. He brought all of us together to play around a table and to try something new. It was because of his individual conversations with myself, with Liam, with Sam, with Ashley around hey, here's this thing that you might have an idea around, this nerdy thing that you've never tried before. Let's just go get weird. And that gravity made us come together in that way. But as a whole, I think if you take one of the 8 of us away, the whole thing just starts to kind of fall apart because there's magic in the fact that we were friends. We weren't a cast. We weren't, put together because of pieces that fit in some kind of predestined puzzle or something. And for me, I'm just very willful and driven and detail-oriented, which I think is important when you have a bunch of creatives. Because otherwise it's like herding cats. And it's been great bringing in other people that have strengths and creative, additions and everything else. So, I will always tip my hat to Matthew because his passion, him sitting alone wherever he was and letting his mind just continue to build out details and continents and storylines, and that is a beautiful thing that people endeavor to do and sometimes fall short of or achieve, and I will always admire that. I think it's a tremendous skill, talent, once in a lifetime thing, and I think we're very lucky to just be around that.
Yeah. We're the lucky ones, man.
Hey,
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
How do you guys do? How do you guys go into the recording sessions knowing that you guys are gonna fight each other?
Yeah, half of it's knowing. Well, we're finding out who's going first.
Yeah.
Right? For Full Metal Alchemist, when Roy and Lust have their amazing fight, I was like, who's recording first here? It was you, right?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I gotta say, you really screamed at that scene.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I was pumped for it because I had watched the sub, the whole series before we started recording, and I went in there and then I heard your scream in the pre-loop, and I was like, uh-oh. This is a little weird. I really want to be excited about these lines, but I'm concerned for my wife.
We weren't married yet.
No.
We were not married yet. We were dating. Thank you very much. We weren't even engaged.
Speak for yourself. We're married to my baby.
Oh, honey.
Just a matter of time. Put a ring on it.
Yeah, no, we don't really fight very much in our marriage. We don't ever have big confrontations like that. So
with
sure,
fire and death,
with fire and violence. So it's fun. Why not?
It's true. It's true. I mean, doing VO is so therapeutic because, I mean, you're yelling for no reason. Not for really no reason, but not in a way you would in normal life. So to get to do it at your partner is also kind of fun. I'd like to try to prove you wrong.
I killed you.
What's your favorite blooper within the campaign or the TV show or mistake or everywhere?
Can't say Shiver and Cliff.
Nope, I already said it.
We just recorded one this week that'll come out that's pretty funny. Oh man, there's so many good ones.
Oh God, that one was so good.
We hoped we ambitioned for a blooper reel from the animated series because it shouldn't be legal to let all of us into a singular room with microphones. Like if we're not sticking our cameras in each other's faces as they're trying to do like romantic or intense lines and ruining the take, we're making fart sounds. It's really rough. Gosh, I don't know. Can you think of any?
Now all I can think of is the thing that just happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you can't spoil it.
No, I can't.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Spoil it.
And you don't want it. It's so good. You want to experience it in the moment. I mean, Shiver and Quiff is just so good. I think bloopers wise, like any of Jester's sendings were an accident because I didn't know what I was gonna say.
Dum da dum dum donuts.
Yeah.
I also love the blooper reel from Oron High School Host Club because it was so funny with Maury and Honey and everything. I laugh a lot.
Do you remember Glass Fleet?
I do remember Glass Fleet.
We would record bloopers to picture. It was so
Dumb
good.
stuff. Chris Savitt's a fun director.
Out of all the characters that you have voiced, what weapon would you like to own?
Oh my God. No, not Craven Edge! What's the matter with you? Somebody watch that person. You'll be in danger this weekend. What about you?
Oh, I would love a serrated lollipop. Thank you very much. That I could conjure at will. Amazing.
I think it's Star Razor, the Ford's Vestige, just because it can do so much awesome stuff. But I also would love a Crimson Right wood chisel. Because
It would be great for camping.
That's right. You could instantly start fires. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the Star Razor for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. You want Fenthras?
I don't. You know what? Vex is actually pretty weak. I probably could pull back the bow. I was just thinking I wouldn't be able to shoot it. It's a heavy pull.
50-pound pole?
Yeah, right.
Come on.
How would you describe the other?
If it's to somebody that I like, I'm very complimentary. If it's somebody that I want to have stay away, I make her sound repulsive. She's nasty.
Stinky.
Terrible breath.
Yeah.
She just farts uncontrollably.
Aww.
Yeah. That's what happens behind the scenes, babe.
It's burping. I don't fart ever. I just burp a lot.
Burp out your butt.
Gross. I was gonna say really nice things about you, but
Go
now
ahead.
I'm not.
No, go ahead.
He's dependable. He's supportive. He's enthusiastic.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Out of all of the characters that you have voiced over the years and everything, which two are completely opposite of each other?
There's so many that are so very, very different. I would say Kaine from Nier is very, very different from Shin, from Crayon Shin-chan.
Shin-chan?
Yeah.
I love Shin-chan. Oh my God.
Yeah. Abby, very, very different from Toru.
Yes.
You know?
Gosh. I think Grog and Chetney are a pretty good example.
Yeah.
One's massive.
No, but they're pretty similar in a lot of ways too.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
What is your comfort role in Baldur's Gate 3, if you play it?
So we have a 6-year-old. And he's the best.
Period.
There's no time for Baldur's Gate.
It's true. We played a little bit over the holiday break on someone's PSX.
It was Troy's.
Yeah,
No,
Troy's.
it wasn't. It was so I have a Steam Deck, and I keep.
Steam Deck.
I'm like, I can get it on Steam Deck, and Troy's playing it on his Steam Deck, and I was like, does it work? He's like, it's okay. It's not as good as if it was on console. I'm like, okay. So I haven't.
We
done
played
it
it
yet.
for like an hour, and then I reactivated my Steam account. I was going to do it, and then there's just no time. I mean, the beautiful thing is that it's because we're making Critical Role and doing Legend of Vox Machina and Mighty Nine and all of these other things. But when you throw a kiddo in there,
Well,
if you do have any time where you're not working, we love being able to pour ourselves into that kid.
yeah, I
which
want
is
to be there
amazing.
with him.
And there will be a time soon where he sits next to us and watches us play.
Not Baldur's
and-
Gate. Get away from me, kid. I'm playing, but don't talk to me. I'm looking at a stereo, okay? I like that I don't play the game and I still know the characters.
Mommy, what
Just
are you
wait.
doing
Just
to that
don't.
bear?
Shush, 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 shush.
What's that bear doing, Mommy?
But I'm aware there is going to be a time when he doesn't want to sit next to us and he's going to want to go do his own thing. And until that moment, we're going to
You have to
pour ourselves into
understand. You have to understand something about Laura. There's this Laura, and then there's playing a video game Laura. That Laura doesn't give a shit about me. I came in when she was playing Dragon Age. I walked into our place, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she was like, "What do you want?" And she was, "What's his name that you were romancing? What's his name from?"
Alistair.
Alistair. I got beef with Alistair. My wife goes hard on
Now you
Alistair.
got beef with Asterion.
And I tried to talk to her, and she was like, "Can you come back later?"
Yeah.
I was like, I guess I know where I stand when Dragon Age is on.
Yeah.
So Baldur's Gate will find its place.
What drives you to put out as much content as you do?
So we were gamers. We love video games, obviously, and everything that you can explore, even in an open sandbox world, is something that somebody had to program, right? You had to code. You can't just do anything, right? There are limits on that. Tabletop RPGs, there are no limits. There is no end of the map. You can do anything that your DM will explore with you. And so for us, we play the same way, in which if we go onto a level or in a room or whatever, we're checking every drawer. We're looking for every little thing. We're trying to figure out what can happen. And knowing that Matt is just making it on the fly, I'm going to squeeze him as hard as I can and get every little piece
Getting every
of
crevice
lore.
of his brain. Yeah. No, I think it's really fun. Like you said, it's really fun to be able to keep doing it. And, we have all these things in our imagination, and it's phenomenal to get to make it happen in physical form. And to get to do it with our friends is I will keep doing that as long as it is feasible, because you have to enjoy that moment and not take it for granted, and just find those things.
Yeah, it's such a rare thing. Might as well do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Might not ever find ourselves.
And we kept when we first started playing, we're like, oh my gosh, can you imagine if we could ever see this animated? It would be so amazing. And then for it to happen, yes, we're overjoyed, and we're just gonna keep imagining things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are facing Lucian at the very, very end.
Uh-huh.
And Fjord, you see Jester get killed by his clawed wings six attacks.
I'm here. I'm just trying to give you the visual.
It's good.
I love it. I love it.
What went through, because as I was watching that, right, there were legitimate tears that were being shed.
Yeah.
So what went through your hearts and minds in the middle of that battle?
Well, I'm a little different. So when things go like 5-alarm fire, I calm down. I'm very, I think I'm pretty good in high stress situations. So it became a little, it was like a math of, if we can't either move her away or take him down, then what matters to her doesn't really matter, which is a callous thing to think. But if you're not changing either of those two things, then she and everybody else are doomed anyway. But then I look across the room, well, actually, you were just left to me because we were still set up, and I saw how much it was racking you, and it messed me up. I was like, oh no, this is real. I'm trying to keep it cold hard math. Cold hard math. But that's kind
But
of
that's how Ford would have been too.
100%. Yeah. And he made some cold, calculated decisions in those things, just trying to think of the group and at things at a larger scale. But when you look over and you can see someone's face, someone that you care about, and what their reaction is, it just elevates it and it messes it up, which I think is why TTRPGs are so great, because that's a simulation for what life is like. You know, you're being presented with a choice or a situation.
High stress situations.
Yeah. And luckily, it doesn't have lasting effects. It does in this thing that we care about and have so much time in, but it was crazy. And I think those are the moments where you're like, how can something that's just in our imaginations and as a story make us feel this way, make us sweat, make us shake or tremble? And that's where you know that, like, it's because we care and these stories have impact.
Awesome.
I agree.
Don't die next time.
No guarantees.
Awesome.
Thank you, man.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up one more time for Travis Williams!